Hello, folks. Welcome to another round of Modern. We have Will Lazanek playing Dredge, and we have Davin Conway playing Mono Red Goblins. This is Davin's first time playing Modern, so we wanted to get him on stream, have a good time. So yeah, and he's got a cool deck. Goblins is fun. I think technically the deck is 12 whack and not Goblins, but I think I named it Goblins on the stream, or definitely named it Goblins on the stream. Will decided to bring out Dredge for the first time in a while. I know he used to play it a lot, and this new version is pretty interesting. Devin's going to play Foundry Street Denizen. Will's just going to shoot it with Dark Blast. Which actually is, it gets him a Dredger in the graveyard. It's interesting, like, the evolution that Dredge has gone through. Because when I first got into the game, not that it was that long ago, but Dredge was primarily, you red-green. It was like Jund color. You had red-green and then the black cards for dredging. Now it's like, that's effectively 4-color, because it went red, green, white with like the black stuff to dredge because of the red-white spell from Strixhaven, and then now with all the stuff that's come out recently from Val and Midnight Hunt, like there's just enough blue cards. Like Otherworldly Gaze is a really cool fit into the deck. I've seen people play Faithful Mending. I don't know if Will's playing it right now. But we hit a Creeping Chill, so Will's going to go to 23, Devin's going to go to 17. And then we're going to trigger Silver Smoke Ghoul in the end step. Creeping Chill is a card that, like, I never know how I feel about it. When I'm playing Dredge, that feels great, man. I love that card. When I'm playing against Dredge, it's like, why is there a free Lightning Helix in your deck? And why is there 4 of them? Alright, we're going to play out a Goblin. Unfortunately for Davin, the threat density of his deck I don't think matches up well enough into Dredge here. It's just one of those things that, like... Ooh, we're going to flash back another Otherworldly Gaze. Dredge is effectively the bully, right? Was the bully for the format for a little while. Where it just kind of beats up on more fair decks, or like more streamlined aggro decks. It's got just about everything. It's not very hard for it to go off. It has life gain. It has free creatures. Alright, so we're going to Dredge here. Hitting a Narcomoeba and a Prized Amalgam. So we're going to get a delayed trigger on that Amalgam there. I will say, I like with Mono Red, how that's like the deck that everybody builds when they first get into Modern. Like it seems to me that like every customer is like, I want to get into Modern, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm thinking about building this deck, and it's just a red deck, and it's nothing wrong with that. Mono Red's very fun to play. It's a good time. I had a customer message me last night, and they're like, I want to get into Modern, and they're asking questions about like how the game works because they don't play Magic, and they're like, hey, how does lighting, like, and now I think it was shock, or like a shock style effect. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're building Mono Red. And they're like, yeah, I'd like to. I was like, all right, cool. It's just a funny anecdote that I enjoy. It's cost effective. It's fun. There's a lot of cool cards in Mono Red. And then you can like short upgrade to like a Boros deck and then work your way up from there. Alright, Will's gonna draw. He hits the land too. We have the river of cards that is Will's graveyard just in the middle of the screen. Gonna shock down here. Could just play the Golgari Thug and go to or attack and then play the Golgari Thug. Alright, 6 damage. Davin's gonna go to 11. Yep, here's the Thug. It's nice seeing Dredge in, like, it's playable right now, but it's also not, you know what I mean? Like, there's still people playing, like, main decks at the Sanctifier and Vec. There's a lot of incidental grave hate in the format, just because, like, the Darkseid decks exist. Ooh, that's a Castle Ember. That's cool. Alright, 2 mana. What are we casting? Is that a Goblin War Marshal? I think so. Goblin Mog Marshal? War Marshal. And that's a Bushwhacker. They all look very similar when you're staring at them through a camera. Mog War Marshal, not Goblin War Marshal. Oh, TCG player. I wish you worked. It's not Bushwhacker. Goblin Pile Driver? No, I don't know. TCG players just not working. I know, Pile Driver is the 2 mana card. Ooh. Alright, we get 2 Narcomoeba triggers. But yeah, I like that Dredge is like kind of back. It pops up every once in a while, and like the 5 dumps and the challenge results. I don't know how great of a spot it's really in, but it's okay. Alright. Will's going to attack in for 6 again. It's going to put him to 5. And we're going to escape it to Oxybagonus. She's going to let him discard his hand and then draw 3 cards, but he's going to dredge a bunch of cards. And I think honestly, he just probably hits the Creeping Chills here, because he's going to probably do 15. I imagine he hits at least a Stinkweed Imp. There's 1 Creeping Chill, and then an Archamoeba. Stinkweed number 2. Yeah, there's Stinkweed number 3. Yeah, and there's the 2nd Creeping Chill. So this is going to be lethal. Will's going to drain Davin for 6 life. He's going to gain 6 life. So Will's going to take it. Take game 1 with Dredge over Mono Red Goblins. We'll be right back for game 2 once they just pick everything up, and then we'll do the whole it cuts thing. It's a great time. Alright, and we are back. We're going to have Davin on the play here. Let's see how this goes. We're going to lead off with a mountain. A Lightning Bolt in hand. He's got a Foundry Street Denizen. Honestly, I like that card a lot. I think it's a pretty cool design. It's effectively Prowess. Like a weaker version of Prowess, isn't it? Just for goblins. Of course, TCG player. Not working. Actually, it's just whenever another red creature enters the battlefield, it gets plus 1/0. That's pretty sweet. Alright, Davin's gonna punch in here. Will's gonna take another damage off the City of Brass, and he's going to Otherworldly Gaze. Also, that's the other cool interaction with Otherworldly Gaze, is if you send in the Creeping Chill to the graveyard with it, it still triggers the Creeping Chill. Which means instead of taking 3 damage here from this attack, he only took 1. Alright, Sacred Foundry going into 17. As a Cathartic Reunion. Doesn't have the greatest cards to discard right now, but hits another Creeping Chill. It's gonna have to draw 2 cards. The life total should be 14 to 22. Or no, Will is at 19, yeah. You're fairly shocked and then pay to life the City of Rest. Devin unfortunately stuck on one land. Not something you like to see. Okay, attack in here for 2 damage. Alright, playing out a Tormod's Crypt. Now I know this is definitely like I said before, this is Devin's first match, but we were talking about how like it's like, oh, so this is Dredge, like, I've never played against it, I've just heard about it, it's kind of cool to see. So that was probably not the most opportune time to use the Tormod Crypt. In case you're watching Devin, you usually want to use it in response to, like, if he casts another Cathartic Reunion and he discards 2 cards, the discard is cost, that way you can pop the Tormod Crypt in response. But there's a Thrilling Discovery. That's the name of the card from Strixhaven. Discarding a Golgari Thug and a Prized Amalgamir. You can also do it if there's like creepy chill triggers in the graveyard or like bring back effects in the graveyard too. Willis is not having a lot of luck here with the dredge effects. He's not finding any extra dredgers. It's also not finding any cards to bring back from the graveyard. It's wild to me that Thrilling Discovery gives you life, too. Like, why? There's no reason for that. Yeah, he's going to crack in for 2 here. Let's bring up Goldfish. For any of the folks watching, are you going to Star City Philadelphia or any of the Star City events? If so, what are you playing? What do you have in your testing circle? Do you have Dredge in your testing circle? Are you considering playing Dredge? I've been going back and forth with my coworkers about what I want to play. I think I'm between 2 decks right now, but that could always change. I'll probably end up playing the one, but part of me kind of wants to play the other. So, let's see. I'm trying to find a Dredge list on Gold. There it is. I wanted to see what is in this deck. Honestly, folks, if you were looking for a cost-effective way to get into Modern right now, Dredge is pretty cheap. The most expensive card in Dredge that you would need to purchase is from the land base, and you need 3 copies of Blackleaf Cliffs, which could be replaced with cheaper lands. There are no fetch lands in this list. That's kind of wild. Yeah, folks, if you are interested in getting into Modern, Dredge is only, right? But for Modern, it's cheap. It's only like $500 right now. The creature base is like collectively like $20. The most expensive creatures are the 4 Prized Amalgams and the 2 Oxybogonus. The spells are like $10 for all 21 cards. He's got to pay for the lands, which is honestly not that bad. And Dredge is like a fun deck to play. You do a lot of weird stuff. Oh, we found our second land. There's a Mog War Marshal. But yeah, it's a fun deck. Like, it does things. It's usually able to do what it wants to do. You don't really care too much about like finding that many lands. You really just need 2 to work. Sometimes 3. It is, susceptible to grave hate, but it is just a deck that could randomly win an event out of nowhere. Alright, we're going to Dredge 5 with the Stinkweed Imp. Playing a Blackleaf Cliffs return. Top out cards I need to buy. I think I have one. I need to buy 2 more. Alright, got a prismatic ending to the Mog Marshal. Okay. It's cool to me that, like, that's a card that they play now. It makes sense. Like, you have white mana, and you do play 4 to 5 colors. Alright, Will's gonna crack in for some damage. Now, Davin could bolt the prized amalgam here. Once we get it off the board. And then he just has to work his way through the 2 Narcomoebas. Which is possible. He might be able to just attack through and try to race him if he... I mean, he needs more lands. But... Alright, looks like we're going... So we're upkeeping, and we're going to Dark Blast. And then we're going to Dark Blast again. Okay. I like that Dark Blast is getting played now. It's like a cute little removal spell. And it works with the deck. I'm going to skip out an Oxybogonus. I don't think there's any more Creeping Chills left in the deck, but... Dredge a bunch of cards here. Dredging down so with the Dark Blast so he doesn't deck out. His graveyard is a mess right now. So to indicate, yeah, the top row is his graveyard, the Narcomoebas, like that row right there, the Narcomoebas are his creatures, and then his lands. I'm going to tap for another Mog Marshal, making another Goblin. Now, I imagine Will has Conflagrate in the graveyard. You could just draw for turn and then Conflag for lethal. Or he could attack in with the Narcomoebas and then Conflagrate for 1 if he wanted to keep the cards in his hand. Or I guess you could, like, if you really wanted to, like, Conflagrate for 4, shoot the board, and then attack in. Oh, yeah, which we're doing. And then we're going to attack in for lethal. Alright, folks. Will's going to take it 2-0 with Dredge over Mono Red Goblins. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, if you're going to Star City, Philadelphia, or Indianapolis, or Dallas, let me know what you're thinking about playing. Even though 2 of these events have a set coming out between now and then. Have a great rest of your day.